Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching. You're watching the VSO Gun Channel. And I'm going to remind you really quick to check those subscription notification settings. Make sure they're set up the way that you want them to be because censorship might be bleeding through to you. Now, I've got something cool to show you guys here today. This is a Faraday bag from Go Dark Bags. I've got a couple different sizes of these to show you here today. When we go like a deeper look inside of what's inside the thing, we'll need a little bit bigger bag than what I've currently got here. This is obviously the cell phone size bag. This is an iPhone 13. And you know what? We're just going to go for it. The purpose of this is to block all incoming and outgoing traffic. Think airplane mode, but physically barriered, right? So this is designed to make sure nobody can track the device, nobody can communicate with the device, including Braden Langley, who is currently texting me. Speaking of that, we're just gonna go right in here, and we're gonna find. You know what? We'll just, right here. Braden's most recent video, we're just going to go ahead and click on that. Throw it in the bag. And if I was fast enough, then the preload on YouTube will not happen. You guys saw it loading up.
The whole thing to see that it's actually real. There's going to be some pinching to make sure you're real and still awake.
So that little bit right there that you heard was the bit that got preloaded by YouTube when I first clicked on it. I specifically turned off my Wi-Fi on the phone so that a massive quantity of data wouldn't be loaded, because otherwise we have to sit here for a solid minute on the preload. But you can see that it kept the video from loading any further. If I take it out of the bag really quick, then it should. Says offline downloads. Yeah, tap to retry. Maybe. Yeah, it has completely upset my device and does not want to reload. I bet you I have to reload the YouTube app. Okay, there we go. I refreshed it, and now.
This one,
yeah, there we go.
You need to watch the whole thing to see that it's actually real.
So, yes, block the incoming signal. Now, question is, can we track the phone? So what we're going to do is I have a second phone here that's an older iPhone that's set up with Find My, which is the iPhone app for tracking devices or whatever. And I'm going to take a drive around the block without it in the sleeve. We'll just see what that looks like first of all. Now, I've never used this app before, so I didn't know what it was going to look like. I'm going to speed it up a little bit so you can see over the course of a couple minutes what I did was I drove over the other farm, was headed back towards my beehives, but then my dad flagged me down, so I was like actually following him around the barn until he realized that I was following him around the barn, and then he stopped, talked to him for a few minutes, and then drove back out to where the beehives were. And you can see that it was updating its location while I was doing it. It just has a certain amount of refresh time. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to replicate the exact same trip, but this time around, we're going to take this device and we're just going to shove it in the Go Dark bag. And we're going to try to take the exact same route, except for I'm probably not going to linger quite as long at the same location that I talked to my dad, because he likely won't be there. And I'm not just going to sit there and talk to a stone. You know what I mean? So anyway, roughly the same route, same amount of time approximately, and we'll see what happens with the thing in the Go Dark bag. All right, the phone's still recording. I have not touched it. This phone is still in the bag. It does not appear to have moved. So what I'm going to guess is that it recorded its previously known location and hasn't updated it. And what I'm going to do is zoom in while the video is still playing and take this out. Actually, before I take it out, I'm going to zoom in on the app. And then I'm going to take this out. And we're going to sit here and see if anything changes. And it's showing just dots across the top. It just reestablished a connection to the tower. And I'm assuming that this is going to have to take a minute to update as well. I'm just going to leave it run, and all the messages now pour in, right? As we expect. And we just saw some movement. The phone just kind of jumped. Yeah, it's back. It found us again. Now, while I think that this size bag is going to be the one that the majority of you are going to be attracted to, at least it's the one that I'm most attracted to because of cell phone shielding, and I would say that most people these days are gravitating more towards cell phone use than carrying around a computer. I know multiple people that don't own a real computer, they just use their smartphone. Get it, right? I've got a couple more sizes of these things to show you, and the first one that we're going to look at is this 10-liter, and it's essentially the same thing. It's a dump bag, but it's a 10-liter version, right? Major differences are straps there, both a buckle clasp here across, right? And then a shoulder strap that's adjustable if you want. The reason that I am interested in showing you guys this one is because this one is basically a scale up of the last one, and it's easier to turn inside out. So if we look here, we have that shielding material, right, that you're expecting, but then just like the smaller one, there's this microfiber material. So this sort of nylon finish on the fabric, oftentimes that can scratch your screens, right? And so they thought ahead on that and said, hey, we're not gonna encase our shielding material in like a nylon. Make sure that we put something that's not gonna jack up screens and camera lenses and things like that on those devices, and line it with something that's really glass or screen friendly, so to speak. So that is the 10-liter bag, right? And then we have like a laptop case, which is kind of the same thing, only turned sideways. And I'm gonna say, like, my laptop is smaller than this one. This one has Velcro clasps at the top. And then it's got like a rigid closure there. So it's got some kind of hard insert to hold it closed. But this is I'm gonna say that this is probably the size up from the laptop that I normally travel with, right? So a little bit bigger bag for those of you who want to shield your other devices while on travel, because some of those communicate just like a cell phone does. Some of the new computers do. So there are devices, and in fact, I would say my little travel computer, like, as long as it's got power, it's never actually turned off. When I shut it down, it doesn't actually shut down. You have to remove the battery to actually get it to power down. It still communicates with everything. So I guess that computer is multiple years old. So I don't think that it's a stretch to say that a lot of the new computers that are coming out now constantly communicate whether you shut them off or not. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about moving around the country, being tracked, all that sort of stuff, or going to foreign countries. You know, that sort of thing is a little bit scary when you're outside of the United States. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent there. I want to say thanks to Go Dark Bags for setting their product in for eval. And if you guys are looking for something that can mask that digital signature, then this one appears to certainly work. Good execution on the product, and hopefully we'll see you guys on a future video here at the VSO Gun Channel.